All right, y'all, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. And welcome to your favorite podcast.
Riffin with Griffin, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With Griffin,
Riffin with Griffin.
with Griffin, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, yeah. Woo! With COVID, still got them pipes. You hear them COVID pipes coming in strong? Yes, Daddy got COVID. So we're going to talk all about the COVID and my COVID experience. And then I'm doing an intense review of The Matrix and Spiderman. So, look out for that. Spoiler alert. Right off the bat, spoiler alert. But I'm going to try to make it through with my voice. But I really appreciate y'all being here. Okay. Whew, man. All right, y'all. Welcome to Riffin with Griffin. The COVID edition. Yes, I do have COVID. Let me pop the chat out so I can see it right here. Yeah, there we go. Let me see if this works. Perfect. So I can see the chat right in front of me. Yeah, man. So I got COVID. But anyways, first of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all the people, and I hope you had a really great Christmas. Even with COVID, I had a really fantastic Christmas because of Rachel. Rachel made Christmas like really special for me. When you get older, you get to a certain age where like holidays, birthdays, and none of that stuff mean anything to you. I think I've talked about this already, but Rachel's out here decorating. She had like a beautiful tree set up. We moved it over to another corner, and then she had all these gifts under the tree for me. Like she had like so many gifts, and then we had stockings, and so she had like a bunch of stuff in the stockings for me too. So it was just like, I was like, oh man. So it made me get into it, I was like, oh wow, somebody cares about me, And then like she got all these really nice things for me. I got like a beard comb. I should have used it right now because I made my beard puffy. Some jeans I wanted. It was like all very thoughtful gifts that I really wanted, And then I got her some diamond earrings and some headphones that she don't really want the headphones because she don't really use headphones. But, it was nice. We had a good time, but I did get COVID, so let's talk about that. And I see my cousin in the chat. Shout out to Alyssa, all the way from the Virginia, D.C. area. Yeah, so COVID, guys. Let's get into it. I don't know where, because listen, I'm not a scientist. I never claimed to be. But, just from my little information that I read about and hear about, COVID, you could get it. Like, you could be exposed to it and it may not show itself for like 2 to 14 days, apparently, or something along those lines. But it's not like somebody breathes on you and then you have COVID immediately or you show any signs of it. So I'm not sure when, at the point of, say, last Monday, because I believe I got it in Arizona with those animals in Arizona, okay? Just they don't care about nothing out there. But by the way, up to this point, I haven't gotten COVID at all. And I've been out on the road doing meet and greets. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing meet and greets with fans. I'm hugging fans, and I've been doing that now for like 5 months. And I just figured, I'm fully vaccinated. And I was just like, all right, you know what? I do like immune boost IVs. I'm trying to take vitamins. I'm trying to get my, be healthy as possible in terms of that. So I just was one of these things I just don't think I'm gonna get COVID. Sure enough, I got COVID. But anyways, so it could have been there. It could have been at any point when I came back. I mean, I did a show at the Improv the other night, and the Comedy Store. And now I hear a bunch of people, hitting me up like, oh yeah, I got COVID too. And I'm like, damn. So at any point at any time, you could get COVID. You know what I mean? You don't know where you're getting it from or who's exposed or who's not exposed, but you can get it. So, and then I'm fully vaccinated. So I'm like, well, there's like whatever the myths were that they told us in the beginning, because I was one of those people that thought, well, once you get vaccinated, you don't got to worry about COVID. All right, well, that wasn't right. So apparently you could get COVID even if you vaccinated or not, okay? So, and you don't know where or how long it takes or when, it's hard to even determine when you got it or anything like that, which begs the question. And let me just speak. I'm speaking for me, but I'm sure a lot of you have this same question too, all right? Why are they checking for vaccinations now then? Like if I'm going to a restaurant or a comedy club, why the hell they checking for vaccinations if anybody could get COVID at any time from anyone? Then what are we doing? Like who's that dog and pony show for? Because here's what I'm saying now. Either fully shut down, either just shut the whole thing down again. Like, hey, we got to get a handle on this, or leave me the fuck alone. Because what are you doing it for? Who's it for? Like, you checking at the door, let me see if you're vaccinated. I could still have COVID. Here's the crazy part about it too. Like I said, the incubation period of it is okay, let's say you go into I went to a party. I went to this party where you had to get a COVID test at the party. Here's the thing though. Let's say I was exposed to COVID the day before. And then I take a COVID test the day of. I'm just saying you could still have COVID. Even if you test negative on one of these fast COVID tests. Like, I don't know what's accurate anymore. I don't know what's accurate. I don't know what to believe. So now I'm sitting here like, oh, you can just get COVID at any time, vaccinated or not. Then what are we doing? Like, at this point, it's got to be, hey, anybody's going to get COVID. It ain't even about how or if. It's a matter of when. When are you going to get COVID? We're all going to get COVID, period. That's just my belief now. So if that's the case, leave me the hell alone when I go someplace. Because at this point now, when you're telling somebody to get vaccinated, it ain't for me to help you. I ain't getting vaccinated for you. You have to now get vaccinated for yourself. Or if you're young and healthy, then live a healthy lifestyle or whatever you're going to do. But you better make sure you start taking care of you. Because at this point, you could get it from anywhere, anyone, at any time. And you just got to make sure that you don't have any bad symptoms. So I started to feel it. I started to feel sick like, oh man, I'm trying to think what day that was. But maybe like 5 days ago. I came back from Arizona, didn't feel nothing. I wasn't feeling anything, And then I had that show I went to the comedy show in the Improv, and I was feeling a little something. But now I look back on it now thinking, oh, I think that's what that was. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And so I performed that night. And then the next day I was scheduled to get an immune boost IV. I like to get these immune boost IV from Next Health. Shout out to Next Health. I love those guys. And I get those all the time, And so I'm going to get them. I'm sitting in there, you got your mask, all that shit. And then they want you to take your blood pressure before you do an immune boost or any IV. So my blood pressure is a little high. So that's like the first time that's ever happened. So I was like, huh. So I had to sit there for a little while, calm down, and they took it again, and everything was fine, even though it still was a little high. So that was the first sign. And then somebody says to me, hey, man, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I feel okay, But then I thought, well, maybe I'm not okay, right? So I do the immune boost. I get home. We got this home COVID test. I took the shit. Sure enough, COVID. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, this is crazy. So then it's almost as if once my mind knew it was COVID, my body was like, all right, let that shit in. And then I started to feel it, man. So my first night, I had really bad headaches. I had headaches. I had like my sinuses were like, but it wasn't to the point where I couldn't breathe. I didn't have a bad, excuse me. Look, guys, as I'm about to say cough, I start to cough. I didn't have a bad cough. It was like how it is right now. You notice I'm coughing maybe not as often, but I guess because I'm using my voice a lot, I start to cough. Not really having a runny nose or anything like that, but it was really about the headaches and the chills. I was having some chills. So then so that night was tough. But then the next day I immediately started to feel better. But then I was starting to have like my chest was feeling I was feeling something in my chest. Now that scared me because when you look up, you Google COVID symptoms, and one of the symptoms that says is like if you have blue lips, or if it's blue on your fingernails, or if there's really tightness in your chest, they said that's an emergency. That's an emergency situation, so go to the doctor. But then anxiety can cause that too. So it's kind of like twofold because I'm reading I'm getting anxiety because I'm feeling something in my chest. So I'm like, is it because of COVID, or now am I making myself more anxious? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh no. And I was a little nervous about it. So I wanted to pay attention to that. But then I took a couple of Tylenol, and that subsided right away. And then I haven't felt that since. So that was done. So then every day I wake up, I feel better. But I've been taking multivitamins, vitamin C, and vitamin D. I took some magnesium. I've been doing that kind of stuff, along with taking Tylenol, just, aches and pains. And then another symptom was I was feeling weak. You know what I mean? I just felt overall weakness. But today I feel a lot better, but I still know that I'm sick. So it didn't hit me super hard to the point where it was I need to go to the doctor or anything like that. But I don't know. If I wasn't vaccinated or if maybe too that immune boost I took is probably helping me too. But because that's full of vitamins and nutrients and all that kind of stuff to help you fight stuff. So I feel man, maybe if I hadn't taken that stuff, this could have hit me harder. But, I just don't know. You know what I mean? I'm vaccinated, so it's whatever. You know what I mean? So it's I don't, you don't know until I don't want to know actually. I don't want to sit here and be well, if I wasn't vaccinated, I probably could have got through this. I don't know at my age. So I'm I just was playing. I wanted to be safe than sorry. And I was supposed to get my booster today. That's another thing that pisses me off. I was scheduled to get my booster today, and now I couldn't do it because of this. So it's just who knows? But anyways, make your own choices out there. But I will say, I don't know what we're doing. I honestly don't know what we're doing. Let me just say again. I don't understand now why when you go places, they're asking for you to be vaccinated when anybody can get the damn virus. Anybody can get it. This whatever variant that's out there that's just tearing through people so quickly, it's so easy to pass. That sucker don't care about your vaccination status. So I don't know. Maybe I'm one of these unlucky ones that's vaxxed. But actually, I can't even say that because I know now 10 people in the past week. I know 10 people who are fully vaccinated who got COVID. So if that's the case, I'm tired of you asking me about my vaccination status. Get out of my face. I'm tired of going to a restaurant talking about, you can only be in here if you're vaccinated, and we still getting COVID, and we ain't even using masks in the restaurant. So it's hey, shut up. At this point, I feel it should just be you're going to get COVID. That's your business. You need to deal with it. You need to deal with it however you're going to deal with it. If you decide that you don't want to get vaccinated and you get super sick, that's on you. But at this point, who are we trying to protect? Who are we trying to protect at this point right now, knowing that, I don't know. Maybe that's the whole idea is that let's just be better to be safe than sorry. So we don't want to be responsible for the people that don't want to get vaccinated. So you come to my restaurant, you have to be vaccinated. You're probably still going to get COVID, but at least we don't have to worry about you dying. Maybe that's the thought process. I don't know. But at this point, I just go, what are we doing? It's kind of frustrating. You know what I mean? Holding this up. And then, like, the traveling and stuff. And then, like, they canceling flights and stuff. And I get why they canceling flights, because the stewardesses and the flight attendants and all these people, they're sick. You got somebody with COVID roaming up and down the aisles, and so they don't have enough staff to, like, take care of the flight, so they got to cancel flights. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. But unless they come up with some kind of thing that's like, Tylenol, COVID, and flu, unless they come up with that, man, it's going to be a bunch of like, oh, yeah, you can't do this for 10 days. You can't do that for 10 days. Or whatever, until you test negative. And at that point, what's going on with your life? Not everybody has the ability to just like not go to work or not do stuff, You got stuff playing. Like, this feels like weird to me. It feels scary and it feels weird. Like, what kind of world are we going to be living in right now? What kind of world are we going to be living in where we're going to constantly be in fear of, COVID? And then, like, this strain, they trying to make, like, the thing about this strain apparently is not that it's, like, super strong, but it's just super contagious. So, like, and it's so weird, too, because, like, Rachel don't got it. Rachel don't got COVID. So we're like separate, like I'm in the other room and she's been upstairs. And so we try to stay away from each other. And it's crazy though, yesterday Rachel was all like, oh my God, I think I have COVID. I need you to go to the store. And I was like, hold on a second. I actually tested. She took 2 COVID tests and nothing. She's negative. She's upstairs talking about she thinks she got COVID. And she's like, I need you to go to this. You need to go to the store and get some stuff for me. And I'm like, hold on a second. I actually have COVID. So in her mind, if she has COVID, her COVID cancels out my COVID, and now I got to take care of her. I'm telling you, man. Women be crazy. But then she like got over it. And she's like, whatever. But I'm like, I know. It's like, so these common, like, this is, I feel like I'm looking at the chat, and thanks for being here live. You looking at the chat, I'm saying I'm looking at the chat. If somebody gets, if they had like like the common cold's called the common cold, right? Like if I said to you like, hey, I think I got the flu, like in our mind triggers, oh, you're sick, you got a cold. And then we kind of move on. But if I gave the flu like a name, like, booga booga or something like that, I'd be like, yo, man, I got that booga booga. You're going to be like, oh, you got booga booga? You got that booga booga? Get away from me. And then we start acting crazy. Booga booga is all over the place. I mean, that's what I'm saying when you put like a name like Omicron and like these kind of names to what feels like a cold. Well, but by the way, I ain't no doctor. And I'm not trying to say that it's not deadly, because I still, according to like when you look up these numbers and stuff, people of pre-existing conditions, people with obesity, people who are like not vaccinated, who are like older, and y'all need to watch out. Okay, you need to watch out for getting COVID because it can mess you up. But I just think for seems to be a large portion of the population, because this is not, it's not that serious in terms of like death, you know what I mean? Or even hospitalization. So, I mean, I think that if the hospitals, like they're talking about, it's a huge surge, but like people are at home. And how many people are not even going getting tested like at some official place? Like, I think a lot of people are just like, oh, I got COVID, and then they stay home for 10 days, or they stay home until they test negative. So, like, the testing industry, that's another scam I feel like is going on, too. You can't even get a test right now. So, they had to, that's what people are doing. You're just at home. You take a test. The test says negative, and then you're a positive. Then you're like, shit, I got COVID. And then you're telling all your friends, man, I got COVID, man. I'm going to be at home for 5, 6, 7 days. And then, you're not going to the doctor. You're not reporting it to the CDC, nothing. I think that's a lot of people. I think this is everybody that I know everybody that I know, unless they went to an official place to get the test. But everybody's like, they put it on Instagram. They getting positive, and then they put the little test on Instagram like, damn, look, guys, I'm tested positive. And then they moving on with their life. So, I don't know. Thank you for all, thank you for all the well wishes. A lot of people have sent me like good messages on Instagram and stuff like that. And I look like a crazy person too. Look at me. I haven't shaved. My beard is a mess. Hair is a mess. Because I just been home. So I hope you, you guys be safe out there. And like I said, again, thank you for the well wishes. And thank you for, always being there for Riffin with Griffin. All right, guys. You know what I got to do now is we got to talk about my new sponsor, which is Ritual. And you go to ritual.com/Griffin. Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Go to ritual.com/Griffin to start your ritual today. You need to know what you're putting in your bodies, and especially at this time right now, having a good source of multivitamin is super important. So, you'll find there's no sugars, no GMOs, no major allergens, synthetic fillers, and artificial colorants in these vitamins. Plus, they have a fresh taste and delayed release capsule design, making taking vitamins easy. All right. They got all the key nutrients that your body needs. I'm highly into getting on a good vitamin regimen, especially at my age. But you read the numbers, and you hear about how people are vitamin D deficient, people aren't getting enough B12. You would be surprised. I know you might think you're healthy out there, but take a look at getting into some good vitamin thing. And then we have like a thing where they'll send it to you. You know what I mean? You can sign up and they'll send it to you. It's delivered to your door every month with free shipping. Always, you can start and snooze or cancel your subscription anytime. If you don't love Ritual within your first month, they'll refund your order. Get key nutrients without the BS. Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during the first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/Griffin to start your ritual today. That's ritual.com/Griffin for 10% off during your first 3 months. Ritual. All right, let me secure the bag with that. Okay, guys, it's spoiler time. So I'm telling you right now, straight off the top, spoiler. I'm going to talk about The Matrix first, so then the people, because The Matrix was garbage. Do you hear what I'm saying? Guys, garbage. So let's go to that first. Boom. Let's get that up. Boom. All right, y'all. Spoiler alert for all y'all. I saw The Matrix. Thank God it's on HBO Max, because I would be furious if I went to the theaters and paid money to watch this movie. Okay? Like, whew, my goodness. All right, so The Matrix is, first of all, oh, by the way, and this, I ain't even making a judgment on this. It's just something I didn't know. But did y'all know the creators of The Matrix, the Wachowski brothers, are now the Wachowski sisters? Did y'all know that? I feel like that should have been bigger news, or it slipped by me. I didn't know. But yeah, The Matrix, my God. So anyways, they made this new Matrix, and it's called The Matrix Resurrections. And that should be a key right there to let you know that the shit is terrible. Anytime they got to add a title like description like that, anytime they got to add like resurrection or revenge of, or any kind of stupid, any kind of dumb name like that, or in space or something like that, that's usually a sign this sucker is not good. Okay, now first let me just say this: the reason why I'm so down on this movie is because the Matrix, the original Matrix, man, in 1999 I believe it was. The Matrix might have been one of the most influential movies of the last 50 years. I mean, I can't think of another movie that was more influential and important to the movie-going experience than The Matrix. Like, you just talk about all that The Matrix added to just society and to the lexicon or whatever that thing is, to the underbelly of like, like pop culture and all that. The Matrix added to, you know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about this, and you can fill it in chat too, you guys that are watching live, and people listening later. You can still do it to yourself, and you could put a comment later. But I was thinking of like my top 5 most influential movie-going experiences for me in my lifetime. And I was thinking about it. I was like, what is the top 5 movie-going experiences I've ever had? Number 5 would be when I saw Return of the Jedi in the theaters in 70, whatever it was, or 80. I forgot when Return of the Jedi came out, but I was a young kid. And I don't even remember watching Empire Strikes Back or even Star Wars because I was too young. I was born in 72. Yeah, Daddy's old. And so by 70, I was like maybe 5 or 6. So like you don't even remember. But I was old enough to like be like, what's going on with Return? Like everybody was talking about Return of the Jedi. Everybody was like, is Darth Vader his father and all this stuff? And I was like super excited because everybody was excited, like in the movie line. But the reason why it was a really influential movie experience for me was because Return of the Jedi was the first time THX sound was put into movie theaters. So that was the first time you were sitting in the theater and you had this movie-going experience of the surround sound, like this, and you were like, oh my God, the sound's over there. It's over there. So that's what made that like super influential. Return of the Jedi. Number 4, and maybe my list changes, but number 4 I think was when I saw Aladdin. And really I should even say like Little Mermaid, but Little Mermaid was so girly that it was like, but Aladdin, and also me being like really being a fan of Robin Williams and like the change of like cartoons. Like Aladdin was the change where cartoons were like, oh, this is actually something different. And the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, they would put on a show before the movie. So like people would come out singing and dancing and stuff and doing Disney stuff, and then the movie would play. So I remember watching Aladdin in the theaters like 8 or 9 times. Aladdin is one of my favorite movies ever, that cartoon. And it changed the course of like cartoons after that. It was like, that's when it went into like, we were like, oh, this is actually a viable thing. These are like big time movies. And after that, Pixar launched and all those kind of things happened. Those kind of like where people were making cartoons not just for kids, but for adults too. So that was like a really great movie going experience. Then number 3, I would say was The Matrix. Like, cause The Matrix was like, oh shit. Like this really, like you in that theater, like, what? You know what I mean? And just like the special effects and like they were already announced it's going to be a trilogy, and it's like you're like, oh man. And then like Keanu Reeves is playing such a great job being like Neo, because you're Neo in the movie, because when you watch it you relate to him because he's asking questions. What's that? Hey, what's that? And then they would explain it. And then you were getting all the explanation. It just was so, the fighting, just everything about The Matrix. I was like, oh man, this is dope. I love this movie. And it just went on to like, all the other ones were trash. The first Matrix was the best, but all the other ones were trash. I don't know what number 2 would be. Somebody said Terminator. I do feel like that Terminator 2 was like also a big time like movie experience where you're there like, oh shit, this is crazy, But the number 1, I know what my number 1 is. My number 1 movie going experience of all time was Jurassic Park. Okay, when I was sitting in that theater and those dinosaurs came on the screen, the whole theater was like, what the fuck? Oh, I know what number 2 is, by the way. I'm going to go back to it. Number 2 is actually related to the other movie I'm going to talk about. The number 2 best movie experience was Spider-Man. When the first Spider-Man came out with Tobey Maguire, because I used to collect Spider-Man as a kid. So the technology was now at the point where you could actually visualize, you could see the things that you want to see. And so it was amazing to be like, wow, superhero movies are good. This is it right here. You know what I mean? You know? And I think like even if I make a tie, I would say Spider-Man and Batman Begins. Because Batman Begins changed the superhero genre forever. So those are like tied, but the Jurassic Park, man. When I'm watching Jurassic Park, and I mean the whole theater was like in awe. Because that's the first time we saw a computer-generated animal that looked like real life. And it was just amazing, you know? So I saw that. I think I saw Jurassic Park like 10 times. And Steven Spielberg is just a master storyteller in terms of like building suspense on the screen. And it just was like so amazing. So that was, Jurassic Park was like a truly amazing movie experience. So anyways, I don't know why I got off track on that. I have COVID, so my mind is wandering. But let's talk about The Matrix. All right, so again, spoiler alert, but Matrix. All right? This new Matrix was terrible. You hear what I'm saying? Look at me. This was terrible. Now I'm going to explain why it was terrible. I'm not just going to trash the movie without giving my thing. Like I said before, The Matrix was such a great movie. It was so great to like be a part of that and just follow that story, even though the other movies weren't as good. So, you know, we had this really great world that they created. They didn't necessarily do a great job in the next 2 that came out after that. But, you know, it still was like so great. Now, cut to 20 years later, or however how many years later it is, now they making a new Matrix. Right? Matrix Resurrection. So apparently in this new Matrix, Neo, who we never saw what happened to Neo. In the end of like the Matrix, the stupid one, he gets carried off by the robots, you know what I mean? And we don't know actually what happens to Neo. And so now cut to, this is obviously some new Matrix. And this is like some weaker version of Neo, of Thomas Anderson, played by Neo. And he's like a software computer developer, and he developed a game called The Matrix. And they're using footage from the real movies as if this were a video game in this universe, which was stupid because he looks like him. And you know, it's like looks like real footage. Like, how'd they do that? You know, like in that universe, how did they create that? Okay. So this is like, that was dumb. And then it was like too aware of itself. So Thomas Anderson's in therapy, and he's in therapy played by what's his name? What's that dude's name? Guys, help me out. Who's the therapist's name? Funny dude. But by the way, I told you, just spoiler alert. So spoiler alert, okay? What's his name? Anyway. What is, oh wait, here we go. Neil Patrick Harris. There you go. So Neil Patrick Harris is playing like his therapist, okay? So Thomas Anderson is clearly, so the movie opens up and it's like that same scene from the original Matrix where Trinity is like in this room and then the agents come. It's kind of playing out the same way. So you're like, what's going on? But of course there's new characters, you know what I mean? And, you know, you're just kind of like, what's going on? And this kind of like this overview look of like these other people are witnessing this same thing. So, you know, the Matrix still is up and running, and you're trying to figure out like what the hell's going on with this. You know what I mean? And they're trying to explain like, you know, it just was, to me, it was like too on the nose, too aware of itself, of being like, okay, so it's like now this is a way of control, of being like making people think, hey, you know, oh, this was just a video game, but could it be real? And like, he's like in this delusional state of, you know, and so his therapist is trying to convince him, no, there was no other alternate universe. You made this all up. And so as a viewer, you know this, they're fucking with him. You know what I mean? So you don't know. And then it just goes, I fell asleep 2 times trying to watch this on the HBO Max. Like, I fell asleep. Like, it was so boring. Like, so boring. Trying to figure out this story. You know what I mean? Like, I just, oh my God. And then here's something that pisses me off. If you can't get the original actors to play their characters, make a different story. Okay? Just make a different story. I don't know why Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in this movie. Okay? I saw a post about it that someone asked him specifically, why weren't you in The Matrix? And he said, I don't know. Ask the director. So I was like, ooh, that made me feel like there was some kind of thing going on. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like there was some kind of thing going on between them, and that's the reason why he wasn't in the movie. But either way, it was stupid. Now, they were showing old footage of Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus from the video game, which was footage from the original movies. So I'm sure he got paid for that, or who knows. But they had some other guy playing Morpheus. And I was like, nope, sorry, don't do that. This would be like if they made, like, let's say they made Star Wars, you know what I mean? Like, the new Star Wars comes out, and, like, Jake Gyllenhaal is playing Han Solo. We would be like, or even somebody less known than that, we'd be like, where the hell's Harrison Ford? He's alive. Why isn't he Han Solo? Like, what are you doing? It didn't make any sense to me. Like, I was like, no, thank you. Morpheus is still alive. And then, of all the characters that they gonna keep in the movie, they keep Niobe with the worst makeup, old person makeup ever. Like, totally unbelievable. Jada Pinkett Smith is now the leader of, like, this new city that's not Zion anymore. They got a new name for it. I was like, no, thank you. And then, they try to bring back other characters from the old movie. Oh, my God, it was just so bad. The fighting, like the final scene is this, like, it's dark. And Neo keeps doing the bullet thing where he's like, he remembers his power. And then it turns out, you know what? I ain't going to even spoil it for, like, people that actually want to watch it. I'm just telling you, I fell the frick asleep on this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I fell asleep. And then I woke up the next morning like, let me finish this. And I still was like, ugh. So, and I think that they're going to continue, and of course, now all of a sudden, this is how they got to do it. Now all of a sudden, Neo's weak and Trinity's flying around now. And she's the one that's going to be like the one that's going to save everybody or something. I mean, I don't even know. And by the way, let's just talk nerd shit right now. Let's delve into the Matrix universe of these computers who are now running the world, right? Computers. How the hell they still allowing people to escape from the pods? Please explain this to me. They got Neo and Trinity in some secret high security pods because the new leader of the Matrix knows that they're the key to keeping everybody in line. So they got them in this, like, supposed to be secure location, and all of a sudden they can still get snuck out. They, like, what? If they're robots, you don't need, like, the robots don't need to, like, go on shifts. They don't need to, like, you could just have 100 sentinels around them at all times to make sure, yeah, y'all just watch them. That's your job. That's your job, is to watch these pods and don't let nothing happen. Why the hell would they leave these pods just like, oh yeah, boom, 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 and then, oh, Neo escaped again. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, that was so stupid. It's so stupid. Like, there's a point in the movie where, like, they realize Trinity's gonna escape, and then the guy goes, destroy her, and then 100,000 sentinels come flying. Those sentinels should always be around those pods. There's no freaking way they should be able to escape. So that was stupid. It was stupid. I don't get it. It's like, Do people make these movies and then look and go, yeah, that makes sense? It feels like it's a lot of yes men. For once, I wish like directors and writers, they would grab like a focus group of nerdy Matrix fans, just nerdy Matrix fans, and be like, okay, what do you think of this? And then we would go, nah, man, that's dumb. Why wouldn't the Sentinels? And then he could be like, you know what, you're right. Let's add that in or something. Like talk to the people that you've like. Just because you create something, don't mean that like everything you're saying about it is right. Oof, oof, oof. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Oof. It was bad. I mean, it was bad. Anyways, if you're just coming in right now, I do have COVID. I'm feeling a lot better today. I'm getting over it. Wanted to do the podcast live because I need to get the podcast, podcast out. I didn't really spoil it, but I talked about the Matrix. The Matrix skits, it don't even get a full woo-woo. It just get a woo. That's it. I give it no woo-woos because it was just bad. But if you got a HBO Max and you can watch it for free, just watch it. You got to watch it just so you can be like, why? Like, what did they do this for? Like, to me, it just feels like they dropped the ball. You know, like it's like a great concept. Like some of the stuff in the movie I really like. Like obviously, like some of the robots are now free beings. They're sentient, so they're like, you know what? I'm making my own choice. I don't want to be with these robot people. And then there's people, you know, it's like still a system. Obviously, human beings are still being like used as batteries and all this kind of stuff. And it's just the whole thing was just a nightmare, man. There's so many holes in it. But it was a waste of time. So thumbs down on the Matrix and no woo-woos for the Matrix. All right, so major spoiler alert again. All right, so I want to talk about the best movie I've seen in a long ass time. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Spider-Man: No Way Home was dope. Dope. This was such a fun movie, okay? And at this point right now, everybody already knows that it's a multiverse movie, and they had everybody from the other movies, you know, and even stay for if you make sure you stay for the end credits and the actual end credits, because they got some little teaser things there too, which I thought was kind of cool. But this was a really great movie. And I'm going to tell you how great it was. It was so good, I think I cried 4 times in this movie. That kid, Tom Holland, is a really fantastic actor. And the movie like I say, it was so fun. So, as you know, the previous movie, Spider-Man, I don't know what the hell dumb name of that one was, but at the end of that movie, everybody knows that Peter Parker is now Spider-Man. So now he's the most famous person in the world. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know, trying to live his life, but it's not going well. He goes to Doctor Strange, who's played by, Benedict Cumberbatch, who does a great job. Like, he is the closest thing to, like, you know, that Tony Stark energy, you know, of Robert Downey Jr.'s sort of commanding presence. Benedict Cumberbatch is the only person that can hold that. And he can't even hold it the way, but he's the one. I can tell he's going to be the one that's going to have that thing. So he goes to him like, yo, man, can you cast a spell so everybody can forget that I'm Peter Parker, that Peter Parker is Spider-Man? So he starts to cast a spell. And then like Peter Parker's like, but wait a minute, I want my girlfriend to know. And so anyway, the spell goes haywire, okay? And it opens up a multiverse. All right. And in this multiverse, all the villains, not all the villains, but the major villains from the other Spider-Man universe, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe, they're all now in this movie. Jamie Foxx, the Hobgoblin, and Dr. Octopus, like these people are now from those other movies. These are the villains now that are in these movies. And, it was great. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, because if you saw the multiverse cartoon with the black kid as the Spider-Man, that movie was so good. These people were like, let's do the same thing. Let's just have a multiverse. And so they made this multiverse. And they sort of hinted at the multiverse in the Avengers Endgame anyway. About like, when the lady's talking about like if you take, you have to return the stones to the original point because all these other universes. And then, within the time cops, within the Loki universe. So if you're in the Loki universe, that like there are alternate timelines. So this is something that's already prevalent in the MCU universe. So they brought it in on this Spider-Man. So we're all on board with this. And they did a really great job. Like, there's so many like cheering moments, you know what I mean? Like when Andrew Garfield first shows up, I mean, the whole theater cheered, and then everybody was like so excited because it was like, well, if he's there, Tobey Maguire's got to be there, right? And of course, Tobey Maguire shows up, and the whole place goes ballistic. It was like you really got a good feeling from the movie. You really got like, it was a great movie-going experience. The action was great. The drama was great. Like, they had all these parallels, like, Uncle Ben dies, with great power comes great responsibility, all that kind of stuff, yada, yada, yada. That was all part of the movie too. So this particular Spider-Man, he had his own story, which I love that they did, because everybody lost someone and gained someone. It would have been nice to see Kirsten Dunst, as his MJ. I would have liked to have seen that, but you couldn't get everybody, and they didn't do something stupid like The Matrix and like just get some random actress. They just ignored it. You know what I mean? She's just gone. You know what I'm saying? I didn't spoil it. You look on the internet. I told you, spoiler alert, Lewis. So fuck off. This is a spoiler alert episode. It's in the damn preview, okay? In the damn thing. So if you don't want to see it, then just get out. I don't care. Yeah, so when all these people show up, it was like super exciting. The final fight stuff was like really good. It was just like, it was so dope. And okay, now here's a big spoiler right here, okay? And this ain't even really a spoiler, all right? This isn't necessarily a spoiler, but this is just a theory I have, all right? And it sucks too, by the way. This sucks what I'm about to say, but this is the truth of the matter. They literally found a way to remove Spider-Man from the MCU. That's what they did in this movie, by the way. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but Spider-Man's not going to be in any more Avengers movies, I don't think. I think that Spider-Man is now going to be strictly a Sony. I think Sony won the battle, or whatever happened. They made it so if they don't want to, Spider-Man is no longer going to be in the Avengers. That's how they did it. So they took back Spider-Man, and this is what it is. Now I won't tell you how they did that, but they did it. Oh, and then when, you know what? Like, see, if you're a Marvel nerd and you've been watching the Marvel shows on Netflix and you've been watching the Disney Plus shows, any little thing to that was really great. Like, yes, homeboy from Daredevil was in the movie. Like, the Daredevil from the Netflix show was in the movie, and I loved that. That little moment, I was like, oh, is he gonna be in it now? Like all those little teasers was great for the movie. So somebody said in the chat that Tom Holland signed a new deal. Well, even if he signed a new deal, it doesn't mean that he's going to be in the Avengers anymore. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is they set the table for Spider-Man is no longer an Avenger. Because, you know what I mean? You'll see. They set the table for that, which I thought was great. In terms of, because they did it great. Like, if we never see Spider-Man with, the Hulk and all those people ever again, I'm okay with it because I like how they did it. But all this stuff that they got going on is really good, man. Like, I want you to do, like, if let me give you some Marvel homework right now. I'm going to give you some Marvel homework right now. One, you got to watch Loki if you haven't watched Loki. So watch Loki. I think you should go back and watch Daredevil because they just put it back on Netflix right now, and I know why they did it. They did it because he was in that movie, all right? But like it or hate it, I think you should watch Black Widow. You got to watch Black Widow and then watch Hawkeye on Disney+. Hawkeye is dope. That is a dope show, okay? Loki is dope. Captain America one is dope. The Winter Soldier and the Falcon, that's dope. And it's all connected, man. It's all connected. I love what they're doing. The whole shit is connected. And so that chick that plays Black Widow's sister, that chick is a great actress. And she really makes it. And so she's, so you got to watch that. So this whole MCU stuff that they got going on is really great. All right? I really love it. But like I said, spoiler alert, I do feel like they found a very clever way to let themselves have the ability to remove Spider-Man from the MCU, okay? From the MCU as we know it, of Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, that universe of movies. If they wanted to, it's done. And now they got this new stuff with the terrible Eternals and then Shang-Chi, which was good. That one was good. So, and then you got Thor coming out, and then you got, all those movies that are still going to be connected. We may never see Spider-Man with them again. All right? That's all I'm saying. So check that out. Florence Pugh, that's her name. Exactly. Yeah, that chick is badass, and she's doing such a great job. But anyways, I didn't want to spoil Spider-Man too much, but it was a really great movie-going experience. It was sad when it needed to be sad. It was moving. It was the pacing of the story was good. The action was so intense. The comedy, it was so funny too. It was funny, but it was really touching. Oh man, let me tell you. Oh my God, okay, spoiler. I just want to tell you one of the moments, because these three guys, Andrew Garfield is a really great actor too, man. He had a moment in the movie that it was so moving. You know what I'm saying? It was such a moving moment in the movie, and I won't even spoil it. But he does something in this. I don't even remember his terrible Spider-Man movie, but this was an homage. Homage to that movie that he wasn't able to accomplish something in that movie that he accomplishes in this movie. And he let you feel it with his acting. And it was so good. You know what I mean? It was so good. I know. I told you it was a spoiler. It's in the damn title of the thing. Spoiler alert for all you people watching live. So it is what it is, man. I told you last week. If you watch my podcast on a regular, and I told you last week, I said, you have 1 week to watch it because I will be spoiling the movie next week. I told y'all motherfuckers, okay? So I don't know why you getting on me right now. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You don't got to be here right now. But it was really good. You got to see all three Spider-Mans on screen together. That was really cool. You know what I mean? It was just really cool. I'm glad they all decided to do it too. Because imagine if one of them was I don't want to do this. I'm moving on from this. That would have sucked. They would have had to have changed it. But they easily could have just been like in that other movie. They could have just made anyone be Spider-Man, and we would have believed it because it's a multiverse. So we would have been on board with it. You know what I mean? But the fact that they got Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, or whatever his name is, Garfunkel or whatever, with Tom Holland, and then they were working together, and it was just dope. You know what I mean? The Spidey sense, all that, everything about it was just really great. And what's her name? What's the chick's name? The main chick, Zendaya. She was good. And that kid, the Asian kid, was good too. And I think that they teased something about him too. Because now he got magic. He was doing the portals. Spoiler alert. Sorry. So it is what it is. This movie gets all the woo-woos. As many woo-woos as I could do with my COVID cough. That's all they get. Then they got the COVID cough. But absolutely fantastic movie-going experience. I do highly recommend you all go see it. It's already got over $1 billion in the box office because it literally was that good of a movie. So you know what I mean. Anyways, y'all. Hopefully in like 3 or 4 more days, I'll be 100%. But right now, even talking like this, I'm feeling a little weak. My voice is a little, but it is what it is. But I want to thank you guys for watching Riffin with Griffin. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for just being very supportive. Make sure you check me out. I'm going to be on Erik Griffin Gaming Live. Erik Griffin Gaming Live. I'm going to be on there in like 20 minutes because I got to prepare the audio for my audio version of the podcast. So make sure you check that out. Thanks for all the well wishes. I'm trying to get better at, get better. And don't worry, for all you guys looking out for Gen to Gen, we are still doing Gen to Gen, but I got COVID, and then something also happened with Matthew, so our schedules got messed up. But we already recorded an episode, and in 2022, we're coming in strong on, 2022. So don't worry about that. So look out for Gen to Gen too. And I'm also on King of the Sting. Probably going to have to zoom in because I can't go into the studio because I'm still sick. But you guys have been fantastic. I really appreciate you guys being here on Riffin with Griffin. And I will see you next